There's a whole discussion going on about men asking women out on dates where they simply go for a walk. And listen, I just want to start by saying if you are fine with that, I love that for you. But this is not going to be the place where you come in my comment section and think you're going to change my mind. You won't. I'm pretty fucking stubborn and I'm just going to block you. Now, what I'm going to say is this: if you can only afford walking dates, coffee dates, whatever the case may be, that does not mean automatically that you are a bad person, okay? You might be someone really young, just starting out. That's fine. That is understandable. My daughter is 17 years old. I do not expect for her to date a 17-year-old and him take her to a five-star restaurant unless his family is rich or something, okay? So I'm thinking about age appropriateness. You might be really young. That's fine. Or you aren't that young, but you are going through a difficult time financially. Again, does not mean by default that you're a horrible person. Most of us have gone through hard times. If you haven't gone through a hard time, you might be faced with one at some point in your life. Most people are one paycheck or one emergency away from everything changing for them. With that being said, if you are not a young person, somebody just starting out, and you are in a situation where you are being faced with a hard time financially, your priorities need to shift. Dating should not be something that you are focused on right now. When you are not in a good place financially and you decide to continue to date, you will possibly fall into one of two categories. Either you put yourself in a position to be taken advantage of, or you might be the person to try to take advantage of other people. Somebody will see you desperate, searching for someone to help you pay these damn bills, and they'll be like, sure, I'll move in with you, but I'm going to abuse you, cheat on you. Even worse yet, if you have kids, victimize your kids. I'm going to treat you like crap because I know you need me. Or you might fall into the category where you seek out people to take advantage of. I've heard so many men who are celebrities say that when they were in that phase where they were struggling artists, they would fake a relationship with a woman, fake being in love with her, just to move in with her and have a roof over their head, access to her food, and access to her car and resources. I've also heard so many women say that I'm moving in with my boyfriend because it's hard to pay rent. And it's a huge mistake because a lot of women don't understand just how serious moving in with someone is and just how harder it will be for you to get out of that relationship if things don't work out. A man should never be a financial plan. If someone were to ask me out on a date and they said, let's do coffee, let's go for a walk, I would not continue on. Doesn't mean they're a horrible person. Somebody might say it makes me a horrible person. I really don't care. It also doesn't mean that just because somebody asks me out to a restaurant, it doesn't automatically mean that they're an amazing person and that they're automatically going to treat me well. However, I don't want to start off a relationship with someone knowing that they're not financially in a good place. One of the top reasons marriages and relationships end are arguments over money. And people don't seem to understand how important finances are in relationships. It's all love and games until it's time for that light bill to be paid. It's all fun and games until you are having to work a double to cover that other person's part of the bills. It's all fun and games until they're bringing all of their debt into the relationship with you, and now it's also affecting you. And even the nicest, sweetest person can turn into the meanest person once the money dries up and the ends aren't meeting at the end of the month. We're all capable of good and evil. People don't realize that. And it takes a certain moment, a snap decision, anything to bring out the evil in someone. And that's what I don't think a lot of people understand. So you might fall in love with this amazing guy, and then he loses his job and now you don't recognize him anymore. You know, whatever the case may be, when you're up 2 o'clock in the morning arguing about how the mortgage is going to get paid. Some of you may have already learned this lesson. Some of you might not have gone through anything and you're not really sure and you're learning now. Some of you might have to bump your head a few times before it finally sticks. Money matters in relationships. I'm not saying the person has to be rich. Most of us are not rich, okay? Most people are never going to be rich or wealthy, but you have to be financially stable and to be able to pay your bills and to not be struggling. It's not a good idea to hop into a situation where you're already headed in the wrong direction financially. It's going to eventually put strain on your relationship and cause it to be unsuccessful or rocky at best, tumultuous, and nobody wants that. So, unless we are walking from the car to the restaurant, we will not be walking. If we are grabbing coffee after the date because we had an amazing date and we want it to continue, sure. But let's go grab some coffee, let's go for a walk. No.